Oh, my darlings, gather round the old porch swing here in this quiet corner of rural Indiana where the cornfields whisper secrets to the wind. I'm your grandma Etta, just turned 85 last spring, and I've got a story that's been heavy on my heart like a stone in my apron pocket. It starts with a heartbreak so deep it split my world right down the middle, the kind that makes you question if the sun will ever rise again. Picture this, you young folks, with your fast cars and glowing screens back in 1942. I was 19, fresh as a daisy, with dreams bigger than the Mississippi, and I fell head over heels for a boy named Tommy Hale. He had eyes like summer skies and a laugh that could chase away any storm. We'd sneak off to the creek bank under the moonlight promising forever, but then the war came calling like a thief in the night. Tommy enlisted that very summer, shipping off to fight in the Pacific, and I waited, letters coming like clockwork, at first full of love and hope. But one crisp autumn day, the telegram arrived, the one that shattered everything. Tommy was gone, lost in some godforsaken battle on a distant island. I crumpled to the kitchen floor, Mama finding me there, sobbing until there were no tears left. That heartbreak, it carved a hollow in me that nothing could fill, not the passage of years, not the gentle hands of time. But oh, let me tell you, it was just the beginning of a life stitched together from sorrow and secrets, the kind that bind a family through fire and flood. Now settle in, children, as I take you back to those early days when the world was simpler yet so achingly hard. I was born in 1920 right here in this little town of Milford. Folks called it the breadbasket of America back then, with fields stretching golden under the sun and neighbors helping neighbors without a second thought. My pa was a farmer, tough as leather from dawn till dusk, plowing the earth that fed us all. Mama kept the home fires burning with 7 young'uns, including me, the middle girl, always the dreamer. We didn't have much money, but we had each other, and that was riches enough. Summers meant barefoot runs through the hayloft, chasing fireflies till the stars came out, winters huddled by the wood stove, listening to Pa's tales of the Great War he'd fought in as a boy. School was a one-room affair where I learned my letters and numbers, but it was the stories from the radio that lit my imagination, fireside chats with President Roosevelt promising a new deal for folks down on their luck. Oh, how those words wrapped around us like a warm quilt during the Depression when the banks failed and the dust storms choked the sky. We lost the old farm in '33, Pa coming home with hat in hand saying the bank took it all. We moved to a tenant shack on the edge of town, scratching by on cornmeal mush and hope. But even then, there was joy. The church picnic where I first met Tommy, his family new to town from Ohio. He'd share his apple from lunch saying, "Etta, you've got the prettiest smile this side of the Wabash." Those early years, they shaped me, taught me that life's a river, sometimes calm, sometimes raging, but you learn to swim or you sink. As the years rolled on after Tommy's letters stopped coming, the struggles piled up like winter snowdrifts, burying me deeper than I thought possible. I married young to forget the pain, wedding Henry, a steady man from the mill who promised to love me true. We had our first babe, a boy named after Tommy, little Tom with his father's quiet ways. But the war wasn't done with us, it raged on, and ration books became our Bible, gas, tires, sugar, all doled out in meager shares. I worked the assembly line at the factory in town, riveting airplane parts. My hands blistered and raw, dreaming of the day the boys would come home. Then in '45, the news hit, Japan surrendered, and the world cheered, but for me it was bittersweet. Henry came back a changed man, shadows in his eyes from the battles in Europe he wouldn't speak of. We built a life anyway, 3 more children, 2 girls and another boy scraping by in that same little house. The '50s brought a boom car, shiny, and new televisions flickering with I Love Lucy, but not for everyone. The recession whispers started in the late '40s, layoffs at the mill, Henry working double shifts to keep the lights on. I took in sewing, mending neighbors' clothes late into the night, our kids sharing beds to stay warm. Secrets started creeping in too, the kind that fester like an untreated wound. Henry, he had a habit hidden in the barn, a bottle of whiskey to chase away the ghosts. I found out one night coming home early from my shift, seeing him stumble in the door. We fought quiet so the children wouldn't hear, but it tore at the seams of our family. And then the real tragedy struck in 1957. Our little Mary, just 10 years old, took ill with polio, the kind that twisted her legs and stole her breath. The iron lung at the hospital had hummed day and night, but she slipped away in the spring, her small hand going cold in mine. I buried her under the old oak by the creek. the one Tommy and I used to sit under, and I wondered if the Lord was testing me too hard. Those struggles, they forged me like steel in a fire, but oh, the weight of it all. Just when I thought the darkness would never lift, the 60s brought a whirlwind that tested every fiber of my being. Our eldest Tom, all grown now at 18, got the call to serve in Vietnam, that far-off jungle war that tore America apart. Protests on the television, young folks burning draft cards while I prayed in the church pew for my boy's safe return. Henry and I, we argued fierce about it. He saying it was duty. I saying it was madness, sending our children to die for politics we didn't understand. Tom shipped out in 66 letters, coming sparse at first, then nothing for months. The weight, it was agony, pacing the kitchen floor wearing the linoleum thin. Meanwhile, at home, the recession of the 70s loomed like a storm cloud, factories closing left and right, Henry losing his job at the mill. We sold what we could, the old truck, the china from my wedding, but bills piled up like autumn leaves. I worked as a cook at the diner, slinging hash to truckers, hearing tales of the big cities where opportunities bloomed, but for us small-town folk, it was survival day by day. Secrets deepened too. Tom wrote once confessing he'd seen things in Nam that changed him forever. Villages burned, friends lost to ambushes. I burned that letter not wanting the poison in our home, but it haunted me. Then in 68, the telegram came again, history repeating like a cruel joke. Tom missing in action, presumed dead in some rice paddy hell. I collapsed right there in the yard, neighbors rushing to help, but nothing could mend that break. Henry, he turned to the bottle full-time, leaving me to hold the family together. Our two girls, now teenagers, needing a mother's strength. The recession hit full force in 73, oil embargo, gas lines stretching for miles, unemployment soaring to 20% in our town. We lost the house foreclosed on like so many others, moving into a trailer on the outskirts. I sewed dresses for the girls from flour sacks, teaching them to laugh through the tears. Tragedies layered on, but resilience, it's a quiet fire, isn't it? I leaned on the church quilting circle where widow women shared their burdens and found solace in scripture. One night under a full moon, I knelt by Mary's grave, whispering to Tommy and Tom, promising I'd keep going for the living. Through the 80s and 90s, the wheel turned again, bringing resolutions I never dared dream of. Our remaining children, they married well, the girls moving to nearby towns with families of their own, sending money when they could. Henry sobered up in 82 after a scare with his heart, joining AA meetings at the community center. We patched things slow like mending a quilt square by square and found a rhythm in our twilight years. The economy rebounded under President Reagan, jobs trickling back to Milford, a new factory opening for auto parts. I got work there part-time, my hands steady from years of riveting and sewing. But the real healing came unexpected in 95, a letter from Vietnam, a miracle wrapped in yellowed paper. Turns out Tom hadn't died. He'd been captured, held prisoner for years, then released in a quiet exchange. He came home a stranger with scars inside and out, but alive. We embraced on the porch, tears mixing with laughter, the whole town turning out for a welcome home barbecue. He settled nearby, starting a small repair shop, fixing tractors and cars, his way of rebuilding. Secrets spilled out then around the kitchen table, Tom sharing his story, the horrors and the humanity he found in that jungle. It mended something in Henry, two father and son fishing together on the creek, healing old wounds. The 90s brought more hope, the internet age, dawning our grandkids, teaching me to use a computer, sending emails with photos from across the country. Recessions came and went, the dot-com bust in 2000, shaking things, but we learned to weather storms. I volunteered at the Veterans Hall, listening to stories like mine, reminding folks that resilience is America's backbone from the greatest generation to now. Looking back from this rocker on the porch with my Bible in lap and a cup of chamomile tea steaming, I see a life woven from heartbreak and hope, the American way through and through. Those early days in the Depression taught me gratitude for the simple things, a hot meal, shared laughter in the face of want. The struggles of war and loss, they bent me near to breaking, but never quite, for family is the thread that holds us. Resolutions came not in grand gestures, but in quiet returns, forgiveness, and the warmth of home. Oh, darlings, if there's a lesson, it's this: no matter the tragedies or secrets, buried deep resilience blooms like wildflowers after a rain. We're all part of this great tapestry, from World War II heroes to Vietnam survivors, from recession fighters to today's dreamers. Share this story, won't you? Pass it to your kin, your friends on those fancy phones. Let it remind them that hope endures. And if it touches your heart like it does mine, drop a like below, subscribe for more tales from an old grandma's heart. God bless you all and keep you strong. But wait, my dears, I'm not done yet. There's more to this tale that needs telling, for a full heart knows no end to sharing. Let me drift back a spell to those early life moments that planted the seeds of who I became. Growing up in Milford, the air smelled of fresh turned earth and baking bread from Mama's oven. Pa would rise before the rooster singing old hymns as he hitched the mule to the plow. I'd tag along my pigtails bouncing, helping scatter seeds or chase chickens from the garden. Sundays was sacred church, first with the choir lifting voices to heaven, then potluck where Mrs. Jenkins' fried chicken rivaled any feast. It was there I learned community, the way neighbors' barn raised after a fire or sat vigil when sickness struck. Tommy and I, our courtship was pure as spring water, stolen kisses behind the general store, walks hand in hand to the picture show, watching Casablanca and dreaming of adventure. His leaving for the war, it wasn't just loss, it was the end of innocence, America thrusting its young into the fray for freedom's sake. I kept his letters tied with ribbon, reading them till the paper wore thin, each word a lifeline in the dark. After he was gone, I wandered those fields numb as a winter branch until Henry came along, steady Henry with his calloused hands and kind eyes. Our wedding was simple in the church parlor, vows exchanged before a handful of kin, the reception a cake from the diner. Little Tom arrived 9 months later, a chubby miracle with Tommy's smile making me believe in second chances. Those early years, they were building blocks, stacking up a foundation cracked but enduring. The struggles deepened in ways I couldn't foresee, layering like sedimentary rock in the earth's core. After Mary's passing, the house felt empty, echoes where her laughter used to be. I threw myself into the other children, teaching them to read by lamplight, sewing clothes that fit just so. Henry's drinking, it escalated after Tom left for bottles, hidden in the shed, his temper flaring like dry tinder. One night he lashed out words, cutting deeper than any knife. I packed a bag for the girls, and we stayed with my sister in town 3 days of silence before he came begging forgiveness. We reconciled for the children's sake, but the secret of that fracture lingered unspoken. The Vietnam years, they divided the nation, protests in the streets, while I wrote letters to senators pleading for peace. Tom's NIA status had hung like a shroud, no body to bury, no closure, just endless what-ifs. I joined a support group, Mothers of the Missing, sharing coffee and tears under fluorescent lights. The recession of the 70s had amplified everything, unemployment lines snaking around the block, food stamps, our new reality. I stood in those lines, pride swallowed whole, remembering Pa's stories of the depression lines even longer. We planted a victory garden like in the war years, tomatoes and beans sustaining us through lean times. Tragedies peaked when Henry had his heart attack in '79, collapsing in the factory lot, rushed to the hospital where doctors said it was a miracle he pulled through. Lying in that bed, pale as a ghost, he whispered, "Etta, I'm sorry for the years I wasted. We promised each other better." From there, resilience took root. I took a second job cleaning offices at night, the girls helping with chores, their young shoulders bearing adult loads. Secrets came to light, too, when I found Henry's war letters, hidden away, tales of buddies lost in Normandy, the guilt that drove his demons. We burned them together, ashes to the wind, starting fresh as autumn leaves. Resolution flowed like a gentle stream after the storm. Tom's return in '95, it was the dawn I'd prayed for. He stepped off the bus lean and weathered but whole, his hug enveloping me like a prodigal's welcome. The family gathered pot roast on the table, stories flowing till midnight. He spoke of Vietnam, not the horrors first, but the bonds forged with Vietnamese villagers sharing rice in hidden camps, the humanity amid the madness. It healed us all, Henry and Tom rebuilding their bond over garage projects, fixing up an old Ford. The girls, their families grew grandbabies, filling the house with noise and joy. Economically, things steadied. The '90s boom, bringing jobs back to Milford or Walmart on the outskirts, hiring locals. I retired from the factory, but kept busy baking for the church bake sale, volunteering at the library, reading to children, my voice steady from years of storytelling. Secrets resolved in confessions around the fire, Tom admitting his POW, years of doubt, faith tested but unbroken. Henry passed peacefully in 2002, his hand in mine whispering, "Love you, Etta, see you on the other side." The loss stung, but I learned to carry grief like an old friend, not an enemy. Resolutions extended to the community too. I started a storytelling circle at the senior center, sharing war tales and life lessons, folks from all walks coming to listen. The 2008 recession, it nipped at heels again, homes foreclosed, memories of the 30s, but we built buffers, savings from careful years, community gardens sprouting anew. Reflection now in my 85th year is like looking through a kaleidoscope, pattern shifting, but beautiful in their complexity. Heartbreak with Tommy, it taught me love's fragility. Cherish the moments for their fleeting. Tragedies of loss. Mary Tom's absence, they showed life's impermanence, hold tight to what remains. Secrets and struggles, they revealed vulnerability's power. In sharing, we find strength. Resilience is the quiet hero woven through USA history, from Rosie the Riveter to Vietnam vets to recession survivors. We faced double World War II's global fire, Vietnam's divided soul recessions that tested the dream, but always risen renewed. My darlings, this story, it's yours too, the peaks of joy, the valleys of sorrow, building character. Share it far and wide on your YouTube channels, your social scrolls. Let it spark conversations around dinner tables. Like and subscribe if it moved you. Comment your own grandma's tales below. We're all connected in this grand narrative. God's grace upon you. Keep the faith. And remember, hope is the light that never dims. Yet there's layers more to peel back, for a full recounting demands depth like roots delving into rich soil. Early life nuances, I recall the county fair. Each August, the scent of cotton candy and prize hogs. Pa entering his blue ribbon corn. I'd ride the Ferris wheel with Tommy, his arm around me, the world below a twinkling promise. School dances in the gym hoop skirts, swirling to big band tunes, dreams of Hollywood mingling with farm life realities. The Depression's grip, it tightened in 29 stock market crash, rippling to our town banks closing, pa bartering eggs for nails. We kids wore hand-me-downs, patched elbows, but imagination was free stories spun from radio serials like The Shadow. Mama's lullabies, they soothed us through hungry nights. Her voice a beacon. Tommy's proposal, it was under that creek willow, a simple ring from his pa's mind promising eternity. War's shadow lengthened Pearl Harbor 41, uniting us in Resolve Victory Garden, scrap drives, everyone pitching in. His departure train station goodbyes, handkerchiefs waving, tears blurring the tracks. The telegram's cold words, they froze time factory work, my solace rivets hammered with fury and grief. Henry's steadiness, it grounded me our home, a haven baby's cries filling the silence. Those foundations, they were humble, but solid, enduring the tempests ahead. Struggles intensified in the post-war haze economy, sputtering inflation biting at heels. Mary's polio, it struck swift summer '57 church picnic one day, running free, the next feverish bedridden. Hospital trips draining savings, fundraisers at the Grange Hall, neighbors rallying, but it wasn't enough. Her funeral, small casket under wildflowers, my heart fracturing anew. Henry's drinking, its spiral, post-war trauma, unspoken battle, his crutch. Fights escalated words like shrapnel. I'd walk the dirt road to the creek, cooling my head stars, witnessing my pleas. Tom's Vietnam drafted divided us, dinner tables, tense news of Tet offensive, chilling spines. His letters described jungles thick as secrets, heat, oppressive fear constant. Me and news. It was a void, swallowing hope. I lit candles at church vigils, joining Gold Star mothers, their shared silence a bond. Recession 73 lines at the pump, tempers flaring, we carpooled to save gas. Trailer life cramped, but cozy quilts on the floor, stories told by flashlight. Henry's heart attack, it was wake-up call, hospital bed, confessions flowing like the Wabash after rain. Resilience emerged in small acts, me leading the quilting bee patterns of perseverance stitched in thread. Secrets unraveled gradually, Tom's letters from Nam hinting at moral quandaries, wars, gray areas. We faced it head on, family meetings raw but real, forging unbreakable ties. Resolutions glow warm the later decades. Tom's return, a phoenix rising from ashes. Bus station reunion hugs, endless tears of relief, his duffel bag thumping down stories waiting to unfold. He integrated slow therapy for PTSD community, welcoming him as hero. Shop opening, ribbon cutting with grandkids, cheering tools and hand purpose renewed. Girls' families, expanded holidays, boisterous turkey and pie laughter echoing. Henry's sobriety, it lasted AA sponsor to others, his smile returning genuine. My library work, it fed the soul, recommending books on history, healing tales to patrons. To Henry's passing, it was gentle hospice care, family gathered hymns, sung his eyes closing, peaceful. Grief came waves, but grandkids' hugs pulled me through. Storytelling circle, it grew, veterans sharing Double War II yarns, Vietnam truths bridging generations. 2008, recession foreclosures again, but lessons learned, food banks, stocked gardens abundant. Resolutions in forgiveness, self and other secrets laid bare like open books. Hope the constant thread weaving through. In reflection, this tapestry of life, it shimmers with lessons hard won. Heartbreak sting, it fades, leaving wisdom, love's echo eternal. Tragedies, they sculpt us stronger, lost, teaching value of presence. Secrets, burdens lifted in truth, vulnerability, our greatest strength. Resilience, America's anthem from heartland to coast, wars, weathered, recessions ridden. You young ones carry it forward, face your storms with head high, heart open. Share this narrative, spread its light like dandelion seeds on the wind. Like, subscribe, comment your stories, we're in this together. Blessings abound, keep shining. Diving deeper into early life's fabric, the textures reveal more vivid hues. Milford's Main Street, dusty in summer, lined with the feed store and soda fountain where I'd sip cherry coke with girlfriends gossiping about bows. Pa's farm chores, milking cows at dawn, the rhythm of it grounding like a heartbeat. Siblings squabbles over the last biscuit, but loyalty fiercely against the world. Radio's magic, Roosevelt's voice steadying nerves during bank runs. Fairgrounds excitement, livestock judging my ribbon for best lemon pie recipe from Mama. Tommy's charm, he'd whittle whistles from Willow teaching me to play tunes. Courtship letters folded in pockets, read under covers, flashlight beam. Wars enlistment posters everywhere, Uncle Sam pointing join up. His train departure band, playing flags, waving my heart, marching away. Telegrams, delivery postman, somber face world, tilting off axis. Factory sirens, starting days riveting with women like me, bandanas tied, hair netted. Henry's proposal, picnic basket under the oak, simple yes sealing fate. Baby's births, hospital rooms, joy amid pain. Tom's first cry, a symphony. Fate, baby's births, hospital rooms, joy amid pain. Tom's first cry, a symphony. Foundations these, they were the mortar holding against gales. Struggles, undercurrents, pulled fierce posts. Mary's death silence, heavy chores, mechanical. Henry's benders, mornings after regret etched in his face, apologies whispered. Tom's draft lottery number, low fate, sealed letters, home brave but scared. Vietnam news body counts, rising protests, clashing with patriotism. Maya, limbo, endless searches, telegrams to Washington, hope flickering. Recession, gas crisis, even numbered days, odd for odds, tempers short. Trailer wines, whistling nights, cold canned soup warmed on hot plate. Henry's collapse, ambulance wail, family piling in prayers fervent. Resilience in routines, church, every Sunday sermons on endurance. Secrets in journals, pages filled with unsent letters to lost loves. Quilting hands, busy minds, eased patterns of stars and stripes patriotic. Facing truth, family circle, Tom's confessions, post-return wars told. Resolutions, chapters unfolded gracefully. Tom's shop bustling, locals, cars gleaming. Grandkids' birthdays, cakes layered with frosting, joy multiplied. Henry's AA meetings, coffee and courage, shared burdens lightened. Library shelves, dusted stories, selected healing narratives chosen. Busts and booms, navigated savings jars full of coins. Passing celebrated life, reviewed photos, poured over memories cherished. Circles, tales, World War doubled out, foxholes, Vietnam tunnels, common ground found. 2000 reflections mirror clear, now heartbreaks, healed scars, badges of survival. Tragedies, teachers, resilience, the pupil, secrets, shadows, dispel light of truth. America's story hours interwoven. Share, engage, connect. Like, subscribe, your turn to tell. Early life's vignettes continue painting fuller portrait. Schoolhouse bell ringing, slates, chalk, lessons memorized. Sibling games, kick the can, hide, seek in barns. Depression suppers, beans, and cornbread prayers of thanks. Fairs midway, cotton candy, sticky thrills, carousel spins. Tommy's gifts, hand-carved heart pendant worn close. Enlistment goodbye kiss, lingering platform fading. Riveting sparks flying, camaraderie forged. Henry's farm boy roots, shared labors, love grown. Birth's miracles, tiny fingers grasping future held. Struggles, waves crashed, Mary's absence, room untouched, dust gathering. Drinking cycle, apologies, cycles broken slowly. Draft shadow youth, stolen jungles awaited. Newsreels, horror, home front rallies. Limbo's ache support group, solace found. Crisis bite budgets, stretched ingenuity born. Collapses fear, second chances seized. Routines anchors, faith steadfast. Journals, catharsis words freed. Patterns sown, stories told. Chapters closed, Tom's life reclaimed. Celebrations abundant. Meetings transformed, shelves wisdom dispensed. Navigated wisely, reviewed warmly. Tales bridged, tilled together, released fully.